Hello, David here. Let's talk about the new internet word puzzle game that has captured the attention of many people. Wordle is a simple word-solving puzzle game which has very simple rules and a unique quirk of having everybody on the internet all attempt to solve the same puzzle once per day, similar to a crossword puzzle in a newspaper. The rules for Wordle are very simple. When you go to the main Wordle website, which I put the link in the description, you are greeted with its simple rules. You guess a 5-letter word, and each letter in the word that is green is a clue that that is the correct letter in the correct location. Letters that are yellow are in the word but are in a different location than where you guessed, and letters which are greyed out are not in the word at all. You can use these clues and you are given 6 guesses to try to find the word of the day. I myself am not somebody who I consider to have an outstanding literary knowledge, so the word puzzle part of Wordle can often be too difficult to me. However, I use the simple puzzle with the simple rules as a catalyst to use and improve my Excel knowledge. In this tutorial, I will show you how I made my Excel word solver, as you can use your general Excel knowledge and any other Excel projects you have. In the description, I will put a link to all the websites I use to get the Excel formulas and the Excel spreadsheet that I've completed. I will also have an additional upload showing on YouTube how to use this Excel solver on its own. I just have one request. Wordle is intended to be a fun activity where people can test their vocabulary and logical deductive knowledge. If you have friends who play Wordle, please ask them if they want the Wordle of the day to be spoiled to them before they go ahead and play it, because I would dislike it if somebody spoiled the Wordle for me if I was trying to solve it, so I would do whatever I could to prevent spoiling it for other people. So let's start making this spreadsheet. The first thing we're going to need is all the words for Scrabble. So if we go, this particular is Board Game Geek, has the list of all the Scrabble words in text. Download this document, and when you do, it will link you to this particular Word document that has all the words in Scrabble. And there is a lot of them. There are 280,000 words. So I got this list over here. I pressed Control. I deleted these words over here. We don't need this at the top. We're going to press Control A. We're going to press Control Copy. And then we're going to put these into our Excel spreadsheet over here. Start with row number 1. We click Control V, and we have all these words listed in alphabetical order. Now we're going to use the first quirk of the game Wordle. We know that all the words have to be 5-letter words. So we're going to use our first Excel spreadsheet formula over here. We're going to press equal, we're going to press LEN, open brackets, press the cell over there, close the brackets. This will give us the length of that word. And so we just got to get this and drag all the way down. So this will take a while to actually drag all the way down in Excel. So we can, if we have a formula over here at the very top cell, we can press this B button and we can go Control D, and if we press Control D, it should go all the way down and continue this formula all the way down to the lowest number that Excel can do. This is going to cause us problems in the future, but for now, the problems in the future it's going to cause is it's maximize the file size, because we're going all the way down here into these empty cells. We will fix that problem by, well, it's not a good way of doing it, but we're going to delete this particular sheet later once we have the information out of it that we need. So then what we're going to do is we just want to get all the words that have 5. So we're going to press the equal sign over here. We're going to say if this cell over here, the previous one, equals 5, then give us the value of this cell over here. We don't care about anything else. Oh, no, we don't want false. We want, if its value is not 5, we're going to say it is going to be quotation mark, and that means in Excel language, leave that cell empty. with this formula, again, we're going to press this row over here, press Control D, and that should continue that formula all the way down. And based over here, we should see our first word we care about is ahead, is our first one. We can then select this entire row by pressing Control C. And then when we go, let's just pick some place over here, right click, we want to paste just the values. So we don't want these formulas, we want just the values of these cells. So this over here is still formula based, but this is empty. We can then select this entire H row over here, and we want to put in alphabetical order. So we can go sort from A to Z. If we click that button, we're going to get a whole lot of negative signs. We should actually do from Z to A. We have our false value, and then these values over here, these are the ones that we care about. These are just the 5-letter words, and these are a lot more manageable. So we're just going to scroll down until we get this whole list of words, and we're going to make a new sheet with just these inside it. So we Control Copy, make a new sheet, start it over here, right click, paste just the values, and we will sort these from A to Z. So this is our lovely list of values. We actually want to delete this original sheet we had over here. Yes, permanently delete that data. This is our list of words, and what we will do is we will insert, and just to make things easier, we will go down, we will make numbers, so we can number these later. It's going to be useful for us. I'll be back once I finish that. So we go down to Zimic, and we see here there's 12,971. I'll just say 13,000, but you know what I mean. Let me zoom that in for you. 12,971 different values, which is much better than our over 200,000 we had before. Even Excel is quite a fast piece of software. It's not the best, but it usually handles large spreadsheets quite easily. But even this one, we're going to have so many calculations running that it would still be quite a hefty load on your CPU. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to break up this word into its individual components. So we are going to use a mid function. So what middle does is it returns the characters from the middle of a text string, given a position and starting length. Now, middle is used in contrast to the words left and right, which give you the leftmost and rightmost member, or the characters starting from the left or right. We want to start it from the middle. So we're going to press middle, open the brackets. This is going to be our text that we want, and we always want this B column. So we're going to press the F4 button to lock in just the B column. So when we drag this along later, that will be fixed. Then we want to say our starting number. We want to start with the first digit, and the number of characters we want is 1. So then we go over here and we close those brackets, and we should be gifted with the A. If we then drag that across to the next 3, we have R. So we're going to fix this by this number over here has to change. This has to be 2, which for ahead is actually the same, but 3, this should be our H, and this should be our 4th one, and this should be our 5th one. So what we've done here is we've broken up this word into these 5 letters, and I'm just going to drag it down to Abaka, just so I don't have to do the whole list, because I'll do that when I pause the video. So how are we actually going to solve this? Well, firstly, let's name this sheet over here. We're going to do this as run 1. Let's just call this run 1. And we want to have a new tab which we're going to call solutions. solution. And how I have done this previously is I have attempt 1, and then we copy that, we get attempt 2, attempt 3, 4, and 6. So these are our attempts that we have here, and we're going to put out whatever our word is here. Let's say originally it was pizza, and just because our words were originally in caps lock, we want to do the same thing. We want to make, just because our words are originally in caps locks, we want to do the same thing with our word we put here. And we're going to use the same commands we had here. We can just copy paste this, copy, put this over here, because we're going to have to break this, excuse me. Oh, it's breaking up the wrong letter. You have to go, wait, it's not 2, is it? 2, 3, 4, solution. Okay, oh, because it's B, okay. C, C, C. There you go. We just want it to be, we want all these formulas to relate to pizza. So now it's broken up into our letter pizza. What we're going to do is we've already seen the rules of the game where the rules for Wordle, where you get the correct letter, it's green, the correct letter but wrong location is yellow, and nothing is grayed out. We need to do those into a number that Excel can understand. So we are going to say that green is 3, green is 3, yellow is 2, and grey is 1. So if we look at our first attempt that we had over here, where did I put you over here? We had pizza over here, where green is the I. So we can go 1, 3, 1, 1, 1. That's what we're going to do to tell Excel that that's the answer for that particular code. The code we have there is 1. Oh, wrong one. Let's just put over here 1, 3, 1, 1, 1. So that would be equivalent to like the colors. And we can actually make this easier on us by going to conditional formatting. We can make a new rule. We can change the cell based on its value. If we do 3 colors and we have green being the highest, yellow, and then this one over here can be gray, we can actually go like this, and that's matches our particular color. So we know that we're on the right path. Then what we're going to do, the way that I found to solve this, is we want to combine these numbers into a single cell. So we want to do the opposite of the mid function. So the way we do the opposite, when we're doing mid, we're breaking up a letter into individual parts. This one, we are combining them together. The combined word is concatenate. I probably said that wrong, but that's the function over there. C-O-N-C-A-T-E-N-A-T-E, and what that does is it combines a whole bunch of text together. So we want to combine, in this case the text is a number, but it should still be fine. We want to combine this square, D4, we'll press comma, E4, comma, F4, comma, G4, comma, H4, and then close that bracket, and then we are left with this particular number combination over here. Then what we want to do is we want to tell the logic behind this is the word pizza. With the word of the today, this is the code that pizza gives us, 13111. So if we put pizza code into these words over here, the correct word of the day has to also give us an answer of 13111. So we have to find a way that we can put this pizza into there and see which words out of the 13,000 words we start with, which ones will get the same 13111. So let's go, how are we going to get this pizza 13111? How are we going to run this through all 13,000 numbers? Well, if we'll go to this run, we are going to first do some color coding. Let's say over here, we're going to color code these 5 green. So we just made 5 rows green, and then we'll do the next, we'll do a space, and then the next 5 rows we'll do as yellow. These are going to relate to these 5 spaces over here. We're going to use it to align it to these 5 letters over here. The first solution we want to say is if equals, if this cell over here, which is going to be the first letter in our head, if C1 equals our P1, so for our P in pizza, which is cell D3, we will then say, if that happens, we already said that's going to be a number 3. If not, let's just press 2 quotation marks, which what that does is it says leave the cell empty, as we've already seen by when we did our sorting to reduce our numbers. And if we drag that across over here, we'll see that, well, none of these letters are in pizza. But we can test this formula. Let's say we spelt pizza with a, let's say we spelt pizza with an A over here, pazza. That sounds, if we had pazza over here, well, we have a 3. So far the formula is working, but let's go back to pizza so we don't mess up any other formulas later. And we drag that across. Now we could use over here, we could do the same function. We could drag this across over here. So in this form over here, we can do the same thing. We could use an OR function. Right, and then we can just do an if for each of those 5 letters over there. But let's use this as an opportunity to learn a new Excel formula. If we go to this particular website over here, to see if a cell contains a specific kind of text, they're using over here a isNumber search string text. So what this is going to do is going to give you a true value. So it's going to search this particular text for a substring. So if you have the word cat and the substring of the text you want is C, it's going to give you a true, because it's going to give you a number. The search will give you where the number of it is in there, and then isNumber means because it is a number, that letter is inside the text. A bit tricky, but it will work. So we're just going to copy paste this, and I'll show you how to work. We put this inside our formula over here. We want to go over here, we're going to say isNumber. So the substring we want is, we want to test, then we want to, so equals isNumber, open brackets, search, open brackets, the text that we want to find. We've got our solution, we want to see if P is, and then the text that we want to see that it's inside of, we want to go to our run number 1, we want to see if it is inside this one over here, our head. And then we press enter, and before we do that, we want to make sure our B doesn't change, so we're going to press F4 3 times, so our B is locked, and we're given a false. And if we go across, we actually see with our head, the only letter in pizza that is in there is A, which makes sense. A is mentioned twice in here. But we have a true or false, so what we want to do is we want to turn this into a number system again. So we want to use our if statement, and so if is just going to, if is asking if this logical test, this isNumber is going to give us a true or false, so it's going to give us that. So if it is true, we want this test to give us the number 2, which means yes, this letter is inside here. If it is false, we want it to be 1 to say it is not contained in here. And then we should be able to close this off, and so we have number 1s, so we should have 1, 1, and a 2, and we have nothing over here. None of these are going to be in the right location, but we will figure that out later. So now we want to combine these numbers together. So we will press these 5 over here, and let's color these. What do you get if you mix yellow and green? I don't know, probably, or blue is yellow and blue make green, so the logical answer is clearly blue. What we want to do is we want to find whatever the maximum number between these two squares is, equals max of this square and this square. this is a way of going around saying, because if this is 3, the green is the primary one, because green means you got the correct letter in the correct location. Yellow just means you got the correct letter. And 1 is obviously the worst. So if we drag these across now, we have a number combination, and we're going to use the same rule we had over here, the concatenate over here. We should just be able to paste it over here, and now we have that particular number for our head. If we go and if we drag these down, are we going to get some different numbers? Oh, 2. Oh, something happened over here. Let's just find out what happened. Yes, when we locked this B over here, I didn't lock the row. So we have over here, we have pizza is this particular row over here. We want to lock it. We want to lock the row that it's searching in. Sorry, not that one. This one over here. We want to lock this as row 3. We want to lock row 3 under the solution. So if we drag this across, this should still work now. As we drag these down, that makes sense. What is this one over here? Are it? Yes, okay, because the ones that have... Is it the I value? Oh yes, the I is in this one. So we're getting the trues on the I's over here as well. So now we can click and we'll drag this down, and I just want to drag it down until we can get something in the green column to show you. Give us anything in the green that's correct, please. We may have the same problem with the green because we didn't lock our 3 in the correct location. Okay, we are getting some. So pizza or alapa also ends in an A, so we are getting that 3 value over here, so this particular formula is working. Alright, I'm going to... Oh, all these are right, because the I is the second letter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag all these down. I'll pause the video so you don't have to see me drag down 13,000 values, and I'll tell you when I get down to the bottom. Okay, I dragged it all the way down to the bottom, and just for a bit of housekeeping, also shrunk these particular columns. And what I'm going to do to make it easier for us to visually see, I'll just go to more borders, and I'll make some... no, I want these particular borders on those squares, just so we can easily see what's happening there. But the important thing is that is our particular concatenated word. So we have these lists over here. Now what we want to do is we want to find which words match. So we are going to use another if statement where, let's start from AB. From over here we're going to say if this particular square equals this solution over here, we will get a particular, if that equals that solution over there, then we could say yes or no, but let's just skip, we're going to skip ahead because I've done this before and I thought this would be easier. We are going to say just give us the answer of our head. If not, give us 0, 0. Give us nothing. And so let's go, and hopefully one of these will give us the right answer. One of these should show up somewhere. Do you have anything so far? Nope, nothing so far. I think I may have done the same issue before. So now solution number 4, if this equals... This has to be locked in completely. There we go. Do we have any solutions that are correct yet? No. We're going to roll down. Okay, I found some. If we go over here and we just drag down, we already see that we have some. We have like Bible, Biddy, Biggie, These are all ones that have the same code of 13111, and we're going to have the rest of them blank. And I'm just going to scroll down to the rest of the list now. Scrolled all the way down to the bottom. The formula is all the way down here. So now what we want to do is we want to rank. But why do we want to rank them? So if this is a point where if you had some coding understanding, which I don't have, so I have to do it through brute force Excel spreadsheet, but if you had any basic level of coding, you could get these particular values and output them into as a new file and then use that to do your next iteration. But we don't have that luxury, so what we're going to have to do is under this run, we're going to have to make a copy of this particular run number 1. We're going to file and make a copy, create a copy over here, so we have a second run file, and we're just going to rename this one run2. And what we want in this run number 2 is we just want all these things that had a correct value. And the way that I found how to get Excel to do this is we want it just to find a way to input just these words. How I found a way to do this, and you might find a better way, but I particularly found it by doing a rank function. We have to rank by alphabetical order, and typically Excel doesn't do that. If you do the standard, if you have standard numbers over here, and you go equals rank, and you just want to pick this number, and this is the things, and do that, it'll rank these numbers in like order. That's no problem. This particular one has them in descending order, but then we can change that to make them in ascending order, which obviously just relates to the number that they are. But if you do that same formula, if we copy this formula and put it over here, we're going to get value. It means it doesn't like that. So we have to use a new thing. We have to go to this particular website over here, and how to rank data by alphabetical order in Excel. We're going to be using the count if statement. So we're just going to copy this one here. It says count if the cells over here are quote unquote greater than and another cell. Quite a big, zoom in on that. Oop. Close. So that's the formula we want to use over here, and that link is in the description for how to rank data cell by alphabetical order. We can just copy and paste this one over here. We want to, no, go away please. Delete that cell. Place, no, not rank. Control. Copy. There we go. Count if, and we just want to change these particular ones over here. Let's see if we can just give us all those cells, please. And let's say if it's greater than this particular cell over here, it's bibs. And so bibs is 12016. And if we scroll through, we see, great, they all have different numbers based on their ranking in alphabetical order. But this particular one is the opposite of alphabetical order, as in it's in descending alphabetical order, because this empty one over here is 0, and there's a lot of 0 values, so much that this is our first one that we have, bibs, and it's number 12,016, so there's actually like 1,000, so it's like 12,015 zeros, ones that didn't match. So we want to just change the particular form on the website over here to be, instead of less than and equal to, we want to make it a greater than or equal to. And so now as we do them over here, they should be in descending alphabetical order. So bibs is actually the last one in this particular rank. The reason why we do this is just so we ignore all these empty cells, because empty cells are counted as smaller, sorry, they're counted as above the actual words, so we don't want all those empty 0 cells. And then we just got to drag this along all our particular cells. We should have a lot. Why do we have a lot of zeros? Huh. Oh, I didn't copy and drag the cells properly, but I'll drag them across the whole thing. I'm going to pause the video and then I'll drag it through the whole piles and clean up this particular wordage over here. I actually noticed I also had it pasted in run 2, so I just copy pasted it over to run 1. So we actually want a clean run 2 to deal with. So this is our run 1, and we've got our particular words. If we go to like Dixit, which is a great board game, FYI. We have over here, Dixit is number 1774. What we can do now is we want to make a list over here in run number 2. We want to start by writing out these numbers over here. And right now, the numbers that we have here, we actually don't care about this particular list over here. And we'll deal with the concatenation, the mid section later. We have these numbers over here, and they go down to 13,000, which is fine for our run 1, but not for our run 2. We want our numbers to just be the limit that we have here. Why did these disappear? Oh, because they were related to an Excel spreadsheet. Let me just pause and fix that up. And all I have to do over here is where it says run 2, I have to make these run 1, and that'll fix that issue. But you shouldn't have that issue if you didn't make my mistake of doing it from run 2. So we want to get these numbers over here. How I found to get the numbers is I like to start my formula like this. I like to say equals max, and then let's find with our rank values over here from run number 1, right? Let's just find out whatever the maximum rank is, and then we just close that. So 956 was our highest one. And then what we do is we're going to start by saying is that rank -1. And then we just continue the list all the way down. The one issue we're going to have with this is eventually we are going to get to a point where we're going to get into the negatives, and we don't want, or 0, and we don't want that either. So we're going to have to put in an if statement over here as well. So we're going to say if this particular cell is equal to 1, then the answer is nothing. Else, and if it's not equal to 1, now we also want to test if this particular cell is equal to 0 as well. Then we want the answer to be 0, not 0, nothing. Then we want the answer to also be nothing. Else, give us a -1. We do this because, okay, close my formula, please. 2 of them. Did that work? Yes. Okay. So the reason why we did this is when we picked the word pizza, we got 900. Yeah, we got like 900,000. Sorry, 900. We only got 900. And that's actually a very large number for our first one, which kind of makes sense because we only got one particular letter correct. The more letters you have correct, the more answers you have. So we want to have our number. What's happening over here? Oh, we got one too many quotation marks in here. Let me just pause to see if I can fix what's happening over here. Okay, I don't know exactly what happened there, but something happened with a quotation mark and a comma. So let's just redo that formula again, where we want to say if, equals if this particular square, A1, equals 1, then give us double quotation marks. Else, if this particular square equals double quotation marks, then also give it a double quotation marks. Else, that square -1. And we want to close the brackets, and okay, that should work because we didn't hear the ding sound. Let's scroll all the way down. We get down to like 1,000. And we scroll down, we get all those empty cells. And for this particular one, we do want to get rid of everything below here because it's going to ruin our search engine. So I'm just going to pause the video and delete everything down to 13,000. So next what we want to do is we want to get our words in here. So we are going to, you may have previously used a lookup function for this particular search, which is usually people's first choice of Excel spreadsheet optimization or efficient, to search for stuff. You'd use the lookup function and you'd look up this particular number over here, 956, and put it into the graphs. But let's use this as a learning experience to learn a new function that is better than using the lookup, and it is using the index and match function together. The index function finds a particular value. It retrieves a value at a particular location and range. So if we can get the whole column, and then we can say pick us the 74th row, and it will give us that value. The match function does the opposite. It finds the position of a particular whatever you're searching for in a range. So we can combine these together. The first one is going to find where this thing is, and then the next one will then use that position to choose that many rows down from in another location. So let's just put these two together. So we have over here the index and match function. We're just going to copy and paste it over here. Let's go to our original form over here. So we want to just paste this index and match function, and we're going to change all these values over here. So we want to, in our match, the function we want to look up, this value over here, 956. The range that we want to search for this function in is, if we go down to our run, we want to search for that in here, which is our rank. And where that value is from is going to be all these values over here. And if we press enter, we have a reference error. What did we do? 1? Nope, hold up. I'll find where we're getting this reference error from. I found it. The example that I copied from this particular website has it in a 2-column matrix, so we only want 1 column. So when we change it over here, I just change this to 1, which is the match type, and then we have the column number. We only have 1 column. So in our match, we have this number over here. So we want to find 956. Where is 956 in the... Where is 956 over here? And it has selected Zimic, which is a bit of a concern because Zimic is not an answer in there. So we have to find out what's happening with this particular solution. Is this 0? Sorry. We want match type, we want 0. And I believe our match type should tell us I believe our match type is like looking for the exact search number. Just make it as a 0, but we want this as a 1 because we're only doing with 1 column, and so bibs was our first answer. So as we drag this down, we should get all the we should get all the things in the search engine, and we dragged down previously to 1,000. We want to drag this down to 1,000. Well, I dragged down to 999. We don't care that the rest are NAs, or actually we do. We're going to delete those soon. We'll find a way how to do that. But we have all our other numbers here, and one thing we have in common with all these, they all have the second letter of I. So there's no other nice way to get rid of it. We're going to do our same if statement as always. We're going to say if, let's just say if this number is greater than 0, then use our particular index function that we found, our index match function that we found there. If not, just give it a good old empty cell and press enter. And so if we drag this down to 1,000, It should fix that. And so that's going to get rid of all these NAs, which is important. It should be getting rid of all these NAs. Why are you not getting rid of these NAs? Oh, is it greater than or equal to 0? Let's say, let's do it the other way around. If A equals empty, then give us an empty cell and remove the rest of the function, please. Yes, we want to really get these cells empty because it's going to, there we go. We want to get these cells empty because it's going to help other search functions if these aren't actually producing any values at all. Okay, we have all these. Now let's go on and do our second round of solutions. We're going to choose a word from this run number 2 list, and night looks like a very fine word to pick, so we're just going to copy the word night. We're going to put it into as our attempt number 2 now. We just want to paste the value, not the formula, because that will ruin everything. So we'll paste the value for night, and then we'll copy this formula we have here for night, and we're going to change these colors based on when we plug night into, that's right, we're playing Wordle. It's been a while, but let's go and put in, oh, did I spell it? I spelled it wrong. N-I-G-H-T. And then we'll press enter on that, and we'll see we have 2 greens and a yellow, so let's plug those words in. We have, what do we have? Grey, green, green, grey, yellow. So grey, green, green, grey, yellow. And then we can copy paste this over here. And so now when we do our run number 2, we can just change these values over here slightly, and the spreadsheet should automatically fix itself. So these numbers over here, these are going to D3, and if we look over here where D3 is, it's this particular cell over here. So we actually want the D3 to be D5. So we'll start with that. So everywhere where it's a D3, we want that to be D5. Yep, and then we should be able to just drag that along. And over here, same thing is number. We want D3 to be D5. And I don't think anything has changed for this particular one. Well, let's do some dragging down. We're getting some new values over here. So like byte is a good one because the GHT would definitely match over here, but it's not. So that's how we know our formula is working. And so we'll drag this, and this one we only have to drag down to the 1000, so it's actually not going to take that long. So we'll drag this down to there. What I am going to do is I'm going to delete actually all these. Oh, I've already dragged it down. Yeah, let's drag it down to 1000. There we go. Okay, so we have this over here. We're going to do the same formula we did last time with our AB. So we're going to go to our run. We can just copy paste these 2 particular formulas, I believe. Just want to copy these into AB, and yeah, that works. Run 2, solution, except not solution 4. We want it to be solution 6 because if we go over here, this is I6, so we want it to be loaded to I6, but all these numbers are fine, and then we just go drag these down to the 1000. hopefully we have some new things that match here. If we're getting nothing, that's a bit concerning. Oh, I just saw some. Okay. So we have 3 values. So in just 2 runs, we've gone from 13,000 down to 3, and it's, if we are correct, it's one of these 3. So we're just going to do the same approach we did last time. And what we can, for the additional runs, we can right click, we can move or copy this particular sheet, create a copy, and this one we're going to rename as run number 3. Yep. And if we place it over here, and if we go to run number 3 and we just change all our if we change these, instead of this going to run 1, we want this to go to run 2, and that should instantly change everything. And then these values over here have to change as well. This over here is going to change from run 1 to run 2, and we have to copy this one down. These ones usually only have to go down to like 1,000. We could do these ones to 1,000 as well. To make, can we just press Control D for that one? Probably we can. We've got those. These numbers over here are relating to the next solutions. So when we do when we copy this over for this one over here, we know that our cells that we need is D8 and I8, or so D7, D8, and I8. So let's look at those. Over here, these over here have to be, the odd one is the 7, so we'll just change that to the 7, and we'll drag that along. And this one over here is going to be 7. We drag that along, and run 3, solution I8. And then if we just get all these, we need to drag these down. Let's just go down to 500 is usually enough for this, because we're more than halving it every time. But you could have an odd case where you need it. So we go through. Let's see now. Do we have any of these that actually worked? Oh, so we have to do our solution number 3. So what word are we going to pick? Let's pick Tygon. Copy. Paste the value of Tygon, and let's put Tygon inside the test over here. Oh, we have 3, 3, 3. Sorry, green, 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 grey, grey, which is 3, 3, 3, 1, 1. So let's put that in the thing over here. 3, 3, 3, 1, 1. And if we go to our solution over here, why is this not finding the answers we want? Ah, this is also run 1. We want that to be run 2, please. Thank you. And Control D to do it all the way down. Okay, so if we did, when we put in T-I-G-O-N, well, the only one that can't be is Tygon, because otherwise the answer would have been correct. So it says here there's going to be one of these two, and so that means we are going to do the same thing over here. We're going to make a copy. We're going to make a solution number 4. Sorry, a run number 4. And at this point your spreadsheet starts to get quite big. That's a mistake on my part, because I shouldn't have pressed Control D on the formula, because it went all the way down to the bottom of the spreadsheet. I should have just dragged it down. But this is also a good time to save your document. So I just saved my document. The error I did, because I pressed Control D, it went all the way down to the lowest value Excel has, and that's just stalling my document. So I just have to go all the way up and delete everything that I don't want. And there is a fast way to do this. You can click this value over here, and then scroll all the way up to where you want to actually delete stuff to. And in this case, I want to delete stuff all the way up to 500. So let me just get down to up to 500. And before I click 500, I'm just going to press the Shift button. And then click 500, and it would have selected everything, and then I can just press delete, and it should delete all the value in those squares, which should significantly assist with the load. You won't get rid of these squares because it knows how big the spreadsheet is, but at least all these squares are empty, which will make the document faster. Oh, and that was with run 3, so I've got to do the same. That was with run 4, and I've got to do the same thing with run 3. Right, so where was I? Okay, so run number 4. Let's just move it into this nice location over here. We already determined that it's got to be one of these two. So when we go to our run number 4, and we're going to change this. In run number 4, we're looking at the results from run number 3. And this should also be run number 3, and this should be run number 3. Press enter, and then we're not going to drag this down to negative infinity, but we'll do this one down to 250. We have an issue. What is our issue? Oh, I know our issue, because I dragged this top one, which is the max, where we want this bottom formula, which has our if statement. We want to drag this one down to 250. Which you should never get run 4 being 250, but you have our two words, you have tiger and tigon, and where do we get these values from? We have to pick, so we have to pick one of these two words. Let's press, why do you even get tigon there? Rank 1 and rank 2. When I dragged it down, I forgot to change this to run 3. Run 3. And I have to drag that down to 250. But we haven't run number 4 yet, so let's ignore that we have these two values here. We have to pick one of these two to test. Let's test tigers, because I know what the answer is today, so we may as well make it so you have to do as many runs as possible. And this is our run number 4, so we have to do tigers, and we're going to copy this over here. And I can already tell you that's going to be a 3, but that last one's going to be incorrect. What was the word? T-I-G-E-S. T-I-G-E-S. Enter. So close. So when we put this into our simulator for run number 4, we should be, we just got to fix up these values again over here. So solution number 4 has D9 and I10. So over here we have D9, drag that along, D9, drag that along, and this over here should be I10. And if we drag these down to 250, we should have our last solution over here, which is, hey, there's only one left. And we may as well finish this out by doing our fifth run, which our fifth run will give us our sixth solution. So you could get a bad set of numbers where you need to use your sixth solution. So let's build that anyway. We want to copy run number 4. When we copy run number 4, and this one will we should only have to drag this one down to 20. Wait, did I press the wrong button? Move or copy? Create a copy of run number 4. Alright, we have run number 4, which we're going to, or the copy of it, which we're going to name 5, and we're just going to order it over here. With this run number 5, we are going to do our changes again. So this is going to be whatever our maximum number in run number 4 is, and I'll drag that down later. This is going to be our run number 4, and we're going to copy this one down. So run number 4. Let's copy these ones just down to 20. So let's just so we know in case there's any visual issues, like we can troubleshoot it later. Let's just do that as a visual indication that we're not going past that. And this particular one, we wanted to just do that word. And we know that this one's going to be, well, we don't know for sure, but our attempting thing should say that we should get that result. Then we know our things are D12 and D11 and I12. So if we go over here, we should have D11. And this one over here should be D11. And this over here should be run 5, I12. And then we just got to drag these down to 20. And then we're given tiger. And so we can plug that in. And that, well, this should be the one that we do for our 6th run, which would be our final guess. But I believe when we put this particular word in here, we should get the answer. Wonderful. With just enough time to, by the time I upload this video, I wanted to do this strategically so when I upload this video, this wouldn't spoil your particular day. And so that is how we have the Wordle done, and you can put in the 6th attempt, whatever, doesn't matter. Like if you had to go there, you don't want to get, no point getting the answer for your 6th attempt. This is a brute force way of doing it, and as you see, the letter we picked here, pizza, got us quite a bad run as far as Wordles go. You want to do better than going all the way down to your 5th attempt. So we are going to use some exploitative features now to improve our Wordle. Actually, I will upload this in a second video to show you how we can improve this Excel spreadsheet. And I'll label this one Wordle, and I'll give you the Wordle improved or optimizer in the next video.